Every time there's a high-profile Western that comes out, I always get excited because I hope that means we're going to get a whole bunch of cool Westerns, but it never happens, right? Unforgiven comes out, the True Grit remake comes out, the Django Unchained comes out. Every time I'm like, oh man, come on, let's get a return to like spaghetti Westerns of yore, but it never happens because Westerns don't make any money unless it's one of those high-profile pictures. And there'll be a couple like really bad ones that'll come out, and occasionally there'll be something good like The Burrowers, where you'll have crazy like tremor-like creatures and Indians, and it's fun. But usually you don't get anything. So then I have to go back into the back catalog and go back in the 60s and 70s and dig out all my spaghetti Westerns. So you got Ringo shooting this guy in the face, and Django Strikes Back, and everybody else like killing everybody and dragging coffins around and stuff, and I love them. And there's nothing better in the winter, I'm telling you, there's nothing cooler than watching like one of these spaghetti Westerns that are set like in the cold winter mountains like this one, Cutthroat's 9. This one's pretty infamous because this is like super gory. This is like the torture porn of spaghetti Westerns, right? And first off, this is a bad idea. This entire movie is a bad idea because you have like this group of guards that are taking these convicts, and there's not 9 of them, even though it says Cutthroat 9s, I think there's 7 of them, but they're taking them across the mountains, the Pyrenees Mountains, and they're going to some fort, and so it's like 3 guys, and the one dude brings his teenage daughter with him. So here you have a cart full of like rapists and arsonists and murderers, including a guy who murdered one of the guy's wives. He's trying to figure out who it was. You do not bring your teenage daughter. Send her on a different wagon ahead of you or something, but don't drag her around with a bunch of dudes who are just going to be leering at her the whole time. Because not only that, they're going to break out some point in time because it's a goddamn movie. If it was real life, yeah, maybe that wouldn't happen. But 30 minutes into this thing, somehow they're going to be free of their bonds because they're all chained together, like in a chain gang. So they're going to like drag them off to prison because they're all horrible, horrible people.
I only remember she died too young, and that one of those men murdered her. Take him out of there. Go on, do it.
You had an accident.
Yeah, just a little spark and boom.
He's all ashes and he smells, Sergeant. Just one blow with a machete and he's finished. Do you expect the men to carry a load of rot?
Well, the wagon crashes because they get ambushed, and some guys are trying to steal gold, and there's no gold in the cart, and they end up getting away, and it turns out that the gold is actually in the chains that these guys are dragging around with them. They had colored the chains so that they wouldn't know it was gold, but they figure out, and then of course they bust free, so now there's 7 really, really bad, well actually by this time there's only like 5, because a couple of them have got shot in the face and stuff like that. But then there's like these twists in the middle of the movie, and it's actually pretty cool. It's like super bleak movie. This is not the movie for like, oh, I'm in a mood to sit down and watch something really happy and sunshiny. This is not the movie for you, especially like when you get to like what happens to the guy and his daughter, because that's horrible, horrible stuff. But it's done really well, and it's a pretty, like I said, it's pretty violent. I mean, there's eyes getting poked out and throats getting gouged and guts and stuff flying out of people and burnt corpses and dismemberments and everything else that makes life worth living. But it's something that you don't always expect. There's not like a bunch of shooting action. There's no Clint Eastwood riding in on his horse, like pulling out his fast gun, shooting people up and having these like shootouts in the streets and stuff. No, it's more like, guy's not looking, so a guy comes up behind him with chains and rips his head off and stuff like that. So it's just a weird combination of stuff. And I remember the first time I saw this, I found this at like some weird mom and pop video store in Florida, and it was on sale, and I bought this in Galaxy of Terror. What a great double feature that was. But this is one you like read about all the time as being this super violent spaghetti Western. Not the most violent spaghetti western of all time, but definitely up there. And it's definitely worth watching if you like spaghetti westerns. Just do not go in expecting happy fun times, because that is not what you're going to get. And the one thing I do want to mention, I sure wish I'd seen this in the movie theater, because I found out when I was like doing my research, because I actually do look some stuff up once in a while, like to figure out years, and then I forget what year it is by the time I come to film this, and then I get the wrong year. Then you guys write me and they're like, that was actually 73, you idiot. I'm like, I know. But when they first had this, they gave away, to the audience, they gave away terror masks so you could put them on during the more frightening scenes. So when dudes were getting their guts like slipped out, you could put this mask up so you didn't have to watch it. So I want a terror mask. Octoman costume and terror mask, do it.